Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Roses Are Reddit, the official Reddit Bachelor podcast. I am your quality host, and with me today are our three special guests, QO, Elizabeth JP 2010, and But Is It Okay? Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Welcome.
So, we've been doing a lot of contestant recordings, and
Yeah.
I'm personally excited to get back to users from the sub.
Yeah, this is an old throwback. Although we've only been a podcast for a few months, so we'll call it a throwback.
We'll call it a throwback.
All right, so should we jump right into it?
Yeah, let's jump right in. So this is the off season, so getting a bunch of topics together is kind of a pain in the ass. But
they're fun.
yeah, but thankfully, people were stupid last week, so we've got lots of stuff to talk about.
They really honed it in for us, just for us only.
So first up, Lauren and Ari are posting on Instagram, and apparently some people are unhappy about it.
It was a shocker because that's been their whole existence thus far,
Yeah,
but that was pretty harsh. I just mean that they've stirred the pot a little bit.
So they posted some picture. I don't understand.
So, I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. What do you mean you don't understand?
I don't understand. So she posted a picture of like something shoved up her stomach, right?
Well, I think it might have been Photoshopped, but someone can say whether it was or not. But
No, that was definitely a burrito baby or a sushi
or a
baby.
burrito. Oh, probably. But I feel like maybe there was like a little bit of like poop, like the burrito baby, and then maybe a little bit of like those phone apps where you kind of stretch it a little bit.
I definitely thought it had been edited.
Yeah, because her hand. Either way, it was like a fake photo of her being pregnant. And it was saying like surprise, blah 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 blah, and it was April Fool's, so that's the whole story.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people got pissed off about it.
Can I just say really quick, because I totally understand why people got mad, but this has also been a joke for a very long time, so I'm kind of interested in hearing like what maybe the arguments against it are, just out of curiosity, because I think a lot of people do this or they do it to their partner or whatever. So I'm just interested in hearing more.
Yeah, I don't get it. So I'd love.
I get it, but I just want to hear the other side.
Yeah, someone please explain this to me.
Anybody else have? Yeah.
So I personally went back and forth on it at first because I don't have a problem with the joke. If you fell for the joke, we saw her a month ago on TV and they've posted nonstop ever since. So that was your own fault. They're not the smartest people. So, but I just felt like it wasn't in good taste, especially after him saying earlier in the season that he had lost a child, and it's not a good joke. Yeah, on their date together, he told her that he lost the pregnancy.
That kind of wrecked me because I completely forgot about that.
I still don't get it.
So I think I'm going to be the jerk in this situation.
No.
Like, obviously people have been speculating for a really long time, like months, weeks, whatever, that Lauren is or is not pregnant. So I think it was just kind of a nod to that joke, like they were acknowledging it.
Right.
So, I mean, it was definitely in poor taste, but I think the people that are saying, my friend is having a really hard time getting pregnant, or, people out there can't get pregnant. Like, I think that that's a little too much for this. Like, it was a bad joke.
Yeah.
But fertility issues should not be imposed on this stupid reality TV situation.
Okay. You know what? I think we all agree, actually, because I was thinking maybe somebody was going to say that they are offended.
Can someone explain to me the context in which you would be offended by this joke?
Because if you have fertility issues, or maybe you can explain.
Well, okay. So like, I know lots of people who cannot conceive babies, and I'm at an age where a lot of my friends are having children. And so as someone who's not at that point in their life and knows that it might be harder for me when I am, it's like, oh, okay, so you're going to joke about something that I take very serious. That's not appropriate. Like, that isn't cool. You have hundreds of people or millions of people or whatever, thousands. I don't know why I said it like that. Following you, and offend some of these people, you could hurt them because you don't know what they're going through. Now, that being said, it's stupid. Just get over it. Like, it was a joke.
Right.
Okay.
I think that they definitely didn't think when they did it that it would have this effect, but it is still kind of dumb when you have such a large following and you're not really taking into consideration like
Can we
things that are silly.
maybe also just consider for the fact that if people with fertility issues, I am one of them. I personally cannot have kids. I'm 28. Like if fertility issues are a thing with people, like how many issues do these social media people have to be conscious of before they post anything? You know, like I thought that this was a little ridiculous. Like, yes, the joke was in poor taste. I'm not rooting for the joke. I didn't even upvote it or like it on Instagram, but I don't think it deserves all the shit it's been getting.
Right.
I agree.
I same. I also agree. I think people are blowing it a little bit out of the water there.
Yeah, I think that like if you're like, I don't know, it just feels really stupid. Like, okay, like they did something stupid and they made a bad joke on Instagram. Like,
yeah.
Although him posting later, we do have a Dutch baby in the oven with the recipe. That did make me laugh.
No, the worst part of that entire thing, though, was him being like, I'm sorry if you were offended.
Yeah.
I wanted to punch him in the face. Like, that's the worst apology of all time. I'm sorry if you were offended. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's the non-apology apology.
Exactly.
It's like, honestly, it's kind of hilarious, but it's like, guy, like I get the point. Like I can empathize with the sentiment that like, okay, this is a really dumb joke. Guys, come on. But also like it's Ari, so he just like I just feel like his brain just does not like he just doesn't have a filter.
Also it's the world and it's the internet and I don't know. You kind of have to choose your
It just
if something like little like that is going to completely wreck your day and you're going to tear someone down, I think it's just a little bit much.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, like, with the amount they've been posting, that would have had to have been the world's fastest growing fetus.
Yeah.
Yes. So we would have been maybe slightly concerned.
It's like they put Miracle Grow in her uterus.
Okay. Well,
I mean, they legitimately said, you know, we're going to flee the country and stay off social media. Right. And then they fled the country and immediately posted about all of their, you know, jaunts around the world or wherever cold country they were in.
And we need to work on us. And by us, I mean pictures of us.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting to me that stands out is like, I think the thing that kind of makes this thing a little bit worse was the fact that like literally like a couple of days before they posted a picture or some video of like some people doing things in the gym and then be like, haha, LOL, like they're so stupid. It's like, Ari, I doubt you could bench press a plate. Like, I doubt you could bench press the bar. Let's hold up before we start judging other people on what you can and can't do in the gym.
Right.
You know what? So, Ari is one of the first bachelors in history that has not taken his shirt off on camera.
Yeah, he did.
So
when?
No, he did. It just took him a little while. He said that he would have given up bread had he gotten it earlier. They talk about that on another podcast.
Oh, maybe I just blocked that out from my memory entirely. But...
Was it when he was with Bacall in the hot tub?
A couple times.
There was there were a couple hot tubs. There was one with Caroline.
There was the group date where he put his arm around Crystal and they all gave him a hard time where you saw his armpit tattoo.
Ew.
Your
research is so much better than mine. Thank you.
Yeah. I would agree with it. Like it's crazy. I think that it's interesting how little he's taken his clothes off. And I can't believe we're actually discussing the content.
I was about to say, I can't believe you're saying that.
Admittedly, Nick's season started with him in the shower, and then Ari's season, he only took his shirt off for the hot tub.
Lord.
So,
like but a normal human being.
Usually, the entire like Bachelor intro to the world, like their first like 4 or 5 minutes of the season, is them jogging shirtless, working out, rubbing their pecs, like all of that. And Ari didn't have that.
We all saw this season that Ari likes to eat, though, so you can't blame him.
Ari and I have that in common.
There's nothing wrong with eating on the show. I think that's overblown.
No, there's not. I'm just saying he ate a lot.
It's just funny because they always talk about why they don't eat and all that kind of stuff, and he's just over there like, I'm gonna eat this.
You gonna eat that? You gonna eat that? So, do you
We kind of touched on that though,
Yeah, I think that I just think it's interesting that like we did bring it up, but I just want to bring up like for real that it's interesting that like they said like, oh yeah, like we're gonna get away from everybody, constantly just post on Instagram even when they're away, to the point to which I think they're kind of drumming up like fake paparazzi scenarios for like.
Oh, they're definitely drumming up fake paparazzi.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, guys, come on.
Did we really think they were gonna step away? I honestly did for a little bit.
No.
Yeah.
So to touch on the fake paparazzi scenarios, did you guys see that video of them? They were in some foreign country and they were just standing on a sidewalk.
And pointing.
Everyone was passing by them. Like, this clearly was not a place that people stop. And they were just hugging and kissing and just being extra. And everyone was passing by them.
And nobody knew who they were.
Well, except for this one paparazzo across the street that Ari kept glancing towards. It was clearly a setup.
Right.
Or the guy at the hotel taking pictures of the pool. And then he was like filming him. He was like, this guy's paparazzi trying to get us.
Okay, that's a little extra. Like, calm down. They seem like the kind of people who would really enjoy that, though.
Apparently.
Oh, definitely.
Apparently, he's pushing for reality TV wedding, which is kind of like, it makes so much sense for him.
I have a completely different view of him now. I mean, like, at first I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he really just made a mistake and maybe picked the wrong person, even though he decided to televise it.
Yeah.
But now I'm just full on like, okay, this is what's happening.
So I have been eating crow for months at this point because I was full on a fan of Ari being the Bachelor at the beginning because I really liked him from Emily's season.
He was so good in her season.
So I was like, yeah, let's bring back like a retro Bachelor. Let's see what he can do. But he sucked. He was not good at this at all. And this whole aftermath paparazzi thing, I have a few points to make about that. One, they're clearly creating these circumstances. I mean, there's People magazines. There was one person on the Reddit sub a while ago that was looking for Ari's coat. And I like to help people. So I tried to do a little research, on the clock at work. And I was looking for this coat and I couldn't find it, but there were so many paparazzi pictures, so many stupid paparazzi pictures of him in this coat. So he'd clearly, in my opinion, manufactured these situations. And two, this may be a little off topic at this point, but I'm just going to say it. It makes me a little more annoyed because I do believe the theory that Lauren thinks that she won this season, like that she's the winner and she's the end all be all of this season. So that makes me even more annoyed about these posts. Like they're trying to prove something that, what Ari did was great and that Lauren is the best and she's the winner and like Becca should be in the back of our minds. It's just, it's just to me.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel like they're constantly trying to prove like, no, we are in love. Look at how in love we are. We can kiss in front of a waterfall. We can kiss in Barcelona. And so I think it's just them making a point like, no, we didn't make a mistake. We're getting married so fast. And I think, sorry.
Also, no, I was just going to say really quick before you go on. I think that in their minds, it seems like they think they're still on the show a little bit.
100%.
They think we still care. That's the thing. I mean, some of us do genuinely care. I mean, I care for the same amount that I care about the show because I'm a hate watcher. So
I genuinely still care because I love the drama.
To be like you again.
I just feed on like this much. Yeah.
I'm here for the drama. That's what I'm here for.
I know. I can't believe I'm this invested in random people's lives, but here we are.
Yeah.
I think we all are in some weird way. It's just a part of being a human without getting too deep into that. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I think on some level, the show kind of makes us all feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to talk some of my associates into going on it, so
hell yeah. We can try to convince like all of our friends to go like single dating sucks. Why don't you go on The Bachelorette?
Yeah, I did tell my friend, I was like, if you get a divorce, the good news is you can go on The Bachelor. And she's like, Elizabeth, that's not a funny joke.
You're like, I thought it was pretty darn good, but okay.
Just be like, in 2018, it's a pretty funny joke. So,
I mean, who says you were joking? Like I was 100% serious.
I know it was really rude of her. I wanted the women tell all tickets. So whatever.
I just nominated you. Like this isn't a joke. life. Like, get your
We
shit
should
together.
actually nominate somebody.
We should.
This is real life.
It's real.
Oh, but what I was going to say, as far as the paparazzi goes, I live in Dallas. And so although I've never run into JoJo or Rachel, I do have lots of friends who have been out and they've been there too. And the paparazzi's not following them around constantly.
No,
Nor
and they're
were they
still
after
very
the
relevant.
show. Exactly.
I think they maybe would only follow you if you lived in LA and were doing something dramatic, but
Like Nick.
honestly, maybe not even that.
Like they didn't follow Nick, and he was on Dancing with the Stars, and he's on a Christmas cruise.
I don't think that warrants the paparazzi, but yeah.
You know what? Like Nick Viall is a bona fide movie star.
Bona fide.
Bona fucking fide.
I mean, I hope for him. It's hard out there for a boy.
Is it weird that like he's gone from like everybody hating his guts to everybody loving him to everybody hating his guts, and now I think like it's coming around. Like
I still hate his guts. I will never be a Nick Viall fan.
So I didn't start watching until Ben's season, so I didn't hate him. And then I saw him on Bachelor in Paradise, and I thought, like, I don't know if I can cuss on here or not, but I thought, what a little
You
B
can.
word. I thought, what a little bitch. Like, get up, grow up. And then they were like, he's the Bachelor. And I was like, oh my God. And then I ended up loving that season, but I am a Corinne lover, so.
Okay, so my first season was Travis Stork season. So I have been on this roller coaster for a while, and I feel like it's just made me bitter. So people like Nick,
Well, that's
and
why you
Ashley,
hate watch.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hate watch with a passion. Like it fuels like my dead soul. But like Nick and Ashley and those kinds of contestants, I can't with them.
I can't.
At the risk of being like a 28-year-old white girl, I literally can't with them.
can you even?
I can't even, and I can't. I can't even. It's hard. It's a hard life out here for me.
As said on the show, I have no chill for them. My chill is 0 for them.
Ugh, so much anger.
Speaking of people who have no chill, apparently there's some juicy tidbits about Becca's hometown date with Ari and how his family had like no chill with Ari.
Her family had no chill with Ari? What was that?
What?
How her family had no chill with Ari?
Yeah, none. Like apparently, I'm reading from the thing here. Oh, they thought he was a scuzz bucket, which is such an awesome.
I love that. I also love the grandpa being like, "Why is no one eating?" That's amazing to me.
That would be me at hometown dates. I'd be like, guys, what the fuck? Like,
well, first of all, they cooked a good fucking meal, I bet, and then no one's eating. It's so rude.
He kept.
Well, I mean, they might not even be in their own houses.
Oh, true.
Well, so I know that sometimes they don't have them in their own houses. I think that for Tia's, I remember Tia's hometown date, they like didn't bring them into any other part of the room, and I heard a rumor that like they only they spruced up the living room to make it nice, and they didn't do anything else, so they wouldn't let them go anywhere else in the house.
Aww. That's actually a little bit sad.
Checks out.
Yeah.
I thought that in the mid part of the series, like before Ben's reign, they would put the families in fake houses. Do they just not do that anymore?
I don't know, because oh gosh, I don't remember what season it was. It was with Jade and Tanner, but not Tanner.
Jade.
Wasn't there. Jade.
Oh,
it seems like
Jade's house is bad.
Yeah, they went to her real house, it seems like.
I think they do if it's like an extreme, but if your house is right in the middle, like it's not nice, but it's not crappy, it's not crazy, then they send you to a fake home.
Huh.
Yeah, no fucking way they didn't go to Dean's house. That place was
weird.
Was a place.
Magic.
Oof, woof. Side note, do you guys, sorry to cut you off, do you guys remember Jade's sad moment where she confessed her Playboy past? Yes. And then she was sitting in her house in like that old gray room on that old gray couch, and then she showed him immediately.
Yeah, and she showed him the video. She showed him the video, and that was the time at which I knew that she was going home. Don't show him the video. Like you could say, oh hey, by the way, I was a Playboy, but don't show him the fucking video. Like that's just an uncomfortable
You're like,
watch
here you go.
for everyone. And when it's like something like you're choosing between 4 women and there's like little to no wiggle room, like that act will send you home.
It's like a jump.
Don't show him the video on your childhood couch in your childhood home. Like,
Yeah.
maybe save that for like a weird Iowa tractor date.
Oh, that's what I did on my first date with my fiance, but okay.
But it worked for
You're
you.
like,
It didn't work for
that's
Jade.
not right.
Yeah. Because Jade's a wild stallion. She can't be tamed.
Until now.
That was
Tanner,
her brother called her that, and that was such a weird thing for her brother to say.
Yeah, like that's
I
not
had never in my
comfortable.
wildest dreams. I'd be like, "Yeah, my sister's a wild stallion."
Ew, like
that's
just saying that right then
uncomfortable.
made me really uncomfortable.
Like, she's not an animal; she's a human being. Dude.
Well, it also sounds like I know it's not, but like a little bit sexual, and I'm not into that.
Oh, it's definitely sexual.
Okay, am I the only one? Because that's embarrassing.
This is gonna sound like really weird, but I would bet you like a very certain amount of money.
No.
Like, he happened upon that video while he was like jacking off, and he was just like, "Oh, this girl is hot. Oh, fuck, it's my sister."
No, he didn't.
Cover up the face.
Cover up the face.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened to like porno siblings before. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. Maybe we could just like cut that part from the podcast.
No,
I mean, maybe. I feel weird about it.
So just to circle back really fast,
Yeah,
I don't
please.
understand why they didn't put more of the drama in her date. I understand they were giving her a Bachelorette edit, but every hometown date this season was like, it was an hour and a half of watching the same thing like over and over again. And so I wish they had to put more drama in it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's interesting to me that stands out is that they were based like the uncle, not Uncle Gary apparently, but the other uncle
Not
was
Gary.
like he had a picture of Becca and Ari, and he like drew like a devil horns and a frowny face, and he had printed pictures of the billboards that got put up. It's like, I feel like maybe they're milking it, or are they? Like, that's just like a general. Like, do you think that they're kind of like just running with all the publicity, or is this? Just
I don't, or else they would be pushing it harder in the public eye.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the whole milking it thing because I went back and I read that post and I read every single comment and
Same.
you know, because I have a life and this is all I do.
Like,
So
you're dedicated.
so well, I love an agenda, you know.
Yes.
It makes me really happy. So I went back and I read everything and I didn't really get the milking it point. Like I thought that it was endearing actually how Becca's family reacted to her, 1, being a contestant, 2, being chosen, 3, being dumped, and now 4, being the Bachelorette. Now, if they come out in the press with articles and they're like pumping out information, that's one thing. But I don't see the milking it thing.
I think they're kind of sticking up for themselves almost.
Yeah, right now I don't think they're really milking it because if she had been like, I want to take this money and donate it to my Uncle Gary, his church, and then had been like, everybody donate to this church, and then had been like, she got brokenhearted, this is where she grew up, everybody, do this for us, that would have been one thing, but they're not.
Right.
But I think we can all agree, though, that Uncle Gary was behind those billboards, right?
I like to imagine it was just like God.
They just appeared one day out of nowhere. Amazing.
And on the 7th day, the billboards appeared.
And they shat on Ari.
Yeah, but it's okay. Everyone else is. So it's just kind of like, who's next in terms of shitting on Ari? It's going to be like, maybe like Trump will tweet something out like, Ari Lewandike Jr., sad, or some crazy shit like that. I think that would probably be like the most favorite tweet of like Bachelor Nation.
I think the next thing to shit on Ari is probably going to be some really obscure company that we're not even aware is connected with Ari. It's going to be like, I don't even know, like Wendy's or something. They're going to talk shit about Ari in the press. Like Ari cannot do any right at this point, and he continues to just spread his nonsense throughout the land.
I just think he so desperately wants everybody to love him and have wanted him as Bachelor that he's really grasping for it still is the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so he's trying really hard to do this, but he's so comically bad at promoting himself that it backfires on him every single time.
And he's friends with Sean, so I think he wants Sean and Catherine's love story for everybody. We all love them. Or guess
Sean.
some of us.
Sean was super pissed off too. Like he did like a series of tweets. He's like, "Yeah, fuck this dude." So I thought that was interesting.
I don't
Was he
want to
the one
talk
that
about
was-
Sean.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
let's not talk about Sean. So we can talk about Lauren. Apparently, she changed her wedding registry to include
Oh,
Ari instead of her
yeah.
ex.
I have mixed feelings.
This is
What the fuck?
Okay.
That's super tacky.
Okay.
Like,
I have to-
can you imagine being Ari in this situation though?
Okay, my two things are one, okay, sure, maybe you still want the same stuff and you don't want to have to go through and scan it all again.
I
right?
still want a crock pot.
But the other side of it is also there's fun in that, picking it out with your future life partner. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, I just want the stuff.
So that's my two.
You know that
sides of it.
I've created the wedding registry already, right?
Rude.
Yeah, we're gonna get like 50 different pairs of orange shorts.
I wouldn't believe it actually.
Okay, so first of all, I love that the line item under the agenda item is tacky ? Like it's even a
Yeah.
question. Yes, of course it's tacky.
So
First of all-
tacky.
Oh
So
my god.
tacky.
So I've been like a professional event planner for however long, whatever. I planned weddings
cool.
for a very long time. And this makes me personally incensed. That's so rude to both Ari and her ex-fiance. It's like she's copying and pasting one dude from her past life into her new life and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think it's just incredibly obvious to everyone who's watching that Lauren just wants to be married.
It's
Like-
so
Yeah, it's
disrespectful.
almost like she doesn't care who it is. She's
Well-
like, just marry me.
She did a lot of disrespectful stuff to her ex. I would be more concerned about like, this is the person I'm gonna marry. Oh, okay, I'm just
Wait.
a cut and paste husband.
What are some of the things? Like, what are some examples?
One of the things I
She
think
did that whole broken up party and had like the
Oh yeah.
cake and the sash that was like not gonna be a missus or something like that.
Oy.
She like took all his stuff
Wouldn't you
too.
be
and
like
or
super sad and not want to have a party?
Didn't she take a bunch of his stuff?
I don't know.
I read somewhere like that one of his like the ex-fiance's friends was like, "Oh yeah, like he took his stuff and his dog, like fuck you," or something like that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I read that same post.
Do we know what really happened between them?
I
Not
mean,
really.
I think she just like ghosted him,
How do you ghost a fiance?
and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she.
Well, I think in
she did
Virginia it's
ghost
probably
him.
a lot easier than other places. Was that rude? I'm sorry.
That, I'm pretty sure she lived in Dallas at the time, didn't she? Because her thing said her
Ugh, Dallas.
thing said, hey, calm down. But her little "this is my name" thing said Dallas on it.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yep. I definitely think that her all of her behavior. I was initially like for her on the show. I wasn't like a full-on Lauren hater. I was like, okay, like she's clearly like awkward and like maybe she's just kind of reserved. Like she's done this a lot. Like I think she just like dives in too deep too fast and like is trying to like prevent herself from doing that. But I just think that she just wanted a good edit so that she could come back and pull all this crap and then we'd be in like her favor. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm definitely less in favor of Lauren now.
The
than, like-
more she does, I'm like, ooh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
See, I have been on a crazy train with Lauren. At first, I didn't even notice her. I mean,
Yeah, I was
didn't
like,
even,
who is this?
yeah, like I didn't even notice her until the moment where she had her like cocktail night moment with Ari where she was like, so I know you're looking for someone with a flexible schedule. And that was like my Lauren moment. Like that's my most iconic Lauren moment. It's like, bitch, who asks someone if they're looking for a flexible schedule? But come to find out that's actually what he wanted. So after that, I kind of forgot about her again. And then I didn't get all of the hate, like people calling her mayonnaise and, you know, like white bread and all this stuff.
I liked pure vanilla extract, but keep going.
You know, pure vanilla extract is actually really nice.
I know,
So-
it's really good. So that's a bad comparison. I feel
So
like.
is it
Yeah.
like, is that good or bad? I don't know.
Maybe
and then-
vanilla ice cream, not vanilla bean ice cream, you know? That
Yeah.
kind.
Exactly. So then all of this stuff happened, and I actually kind of felt for Lauren because, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I know I'm probably in the minority here, but she like she wanted this guy and he came back to her, and that's great. But then this whole bullshit about her, like, oh, I'm the winner, I won this season. Like, no, you did not.
I think that's
Becca
what
won
she
it.
wanted. I think it could have been Peter, it could have been Eric, it could have been whoever, and she would have just wanted to win.
And a part of me feels kind of bad for her in a way, because no matter what, I don't think it's usually a good idea to go back with a person who dumped you and proposed to somebody else and then change their mind. Like, in the years down the line, some way, somehow, that's going to affect you.
Yeah,
Well,
the shitty
in the
romantic
normal,
comedy.
yeah, in like the normal relationship world sense, that's not a good idea. But like in the Bachelor sense, I
It's
mean,
like some romantic.
I don't know. When she was talking, it was like whenever you read something and it's somebody's having an affair and the other woman thinks that they're the one who matters and they were the most important.
Yeah.
That's how it felt when she was like, I mattered the whole time. Yeah, you were going on these happy couple weekends with her, but he was DMing me. And like, I was just like, ugh, I can't.
Yeah. That's a really good way to explain it.
It's like she's like I'm sorry to keep cutting you guys off. I feel really bad about this.
Good.
I'm so bad
It's
at this.
really hard when you're not in person. You can't tell when somebody else is going to talk, so don't worry about
And
it.
I'm raising my hand, but like you can't see, so it's not your fault.
Anyways, go on.
I feel like she just has the mentality that because she was the last pick, that she was the best pick, even though Ari definitely banged other chicks on his quest to find her and definitely proposed to another woman on his quest to find her. But in her mind, it's just his quest to find her, and he found her, and now she's the winner. And that annoys me so much.
It's annoying, but honestly, she probably has to think that way, because any other way you'd be pretty wrecked about it, I feel like.
Well, yeah, because even if he had have ended up with Becca and had stayed with Becca, he still slept with 2 other women in the fantasy suite. Like, so you can't look at it like that.
Okay, so but then tie in what I just said with the whole, oh, we've never watched the finale. Lauren's never watched the finale. She never watched how this went down. Like, I feel like she's just kind of delusional. Like, she's like voluntarily delusional.
I would not watch it.
Yeah,
I would.
If there was a video of my fiance breaking up with his ex-girlfriend, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't care what happened. It's none of my business.
I would want to know every single thing.
I would too, and then we probably wouldn't be together anymore.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm gonna defend Lauren for a second, because I think that initially,
the
like,
tables have turned.
Yeah, I don't hate her. I don't hate her. I just think she's being really tacky, and like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't like that. I think like her not watching the finale was kind of a necessity. I think that one of the things that when Taylor was on, she was talking to us about like all of the hate that she got and all of the stuff that like went her way when she got back, and she didn't even like get very far. Like she made it to what, like top 16, and like the only reason that like she got big was because she had this thing with Corinne. And like if you listen to the podcast, she told a really great story about how like some guy made an appointment with her to come see her, and another guy reported her to the Washington Department of Health.
Well, we don't know if it was a guy or girl person.
Okay, a person. So Lord only knows what Lauren's been getting, and so like I feel like not watching that is kind of a necessity. Like you're already together under strenuous circumstances. You're probably already stressed out. Like I think that her closest comparison to me is Sean from Caitlin's season. Like, except so I did not like Sean initially.
Neither did I, but now I'm like so happy.
But the thing that I liked about Sean is Sean's edit, and I think that Lauren B's edit is kind of like this. Sean acted like a normal person would under their circumstances. He's like, look, I've got a problem with you dating 20 other guys. And Caitlin was like, look, and she pretty much said it, but I think that what she should have said was, she pretty much said, I'm going to pick you, just wait. But what she ended up kind of saying was like, look, like this is part of the process. Like you can either deal with it or not. Like I would like it if you dealt with it, because I think that it could be something great, but you just have to deal. And he dealt with it. He was just super grumpy the entire time. And I think that Lauren has that kind of edit a little bit, like that she she was definitely uncomfortable with the fact that he was dating other people. And I think that her not watching the finale is her way of like dealing with it, as opposed to Sean, who was just like visibly complaining the entire
I
time.
disagree, but go ahead.
So I did not like Lauren at all the whole season. I was spoiled on Reddit on a comment thread. So I knew what happened because once I got spoiled, I read everything, obviously. So I was not a fan of her at all. And then, but that being said, I 100% agree with not watching it. And I personally think it would have been better if they had done like what Rachel and Brian did and like taking a little bit of time to work on them instead of immediately like wanting all this attention. And so I feel like if they had taken a step back, like I really like Rachel and Brian now, and I did not like that. I did not ship it at first.
So I feel like liking Rachel and Brian is completely different. This is just my personal opinion, completely different to what's happening now. And, you know, Rampaging Koala just said a ton of stuff that I feel like we really need to unpack, but I don't know if we have time to do that. But so my whole thing, you know, the Taylor comparison, you know, about how I don't even remember entirely, but like, I feel like, so you said that Taylor didn't watch because she had a career and she was having all these crazy people.
It wasn't necessarily that she didn't watch, but she kind of had to unplug from social media for a little bit and like kind of distance herself. I think she did watch.
That's totally understandable. So in that mindset, wouldn't you want to watch every single episode and be fully prepared for what was coming at you?
Not really.
Like I've never understood this whole I don't watch this, because millions of people have watched this edit and have watched what ABC and The Bachelor have put out into the universe.
Yeah,
and you're the one person that hasn't seen it?
Yeah, but the edit is different than the reality. So like I think that one thing that Jacqueline also
But the contestants are the only ones that know I'm so sorry. The contestants are the only ones that know the reality.
So then under that circumstance, then they don't really like then watching the edit isn't going to prove anything to them, right? Like it's not going to tell them anything they didn't already know. It's just going to say, oh, hey, look, by the way, like here's this other stuff that you didn't see that we've spliced together to form this narrative that may or may not be true.
But it's going to make them informed when psychos on the street and approach them with their opinions.
Yeah,
but they were there for most of it. Like Lauren obviously knows Ari left Becca for her. So if somebody comes up and is like, "Oh, you're a slut," she's gonna know. Okay, well, no, I'm not. I just love this guy.
But I really have a strong opinion about this. I feel like if you are going to put yourself in the public eye to be judged publicly, and you're not going to watch the entire experience, you don't have an accurate assumption of how the public is perceiving you.
Yeah, but if the public perception isn't accurate, then it doesn't matter, right? Like if you know the state of the world and other people know a different state of the world that isn't necessarily true, then you can be secure in knowing that their view is wrong. And they can come at you and say all these things, but at the end of the day, you know the real state of affairs. You might not be able to talk about it, but you know what it is. And so you're basically able to be, and so her assertion is that she doesn't necessarily need to know how other people are thinking because she knows that other people's thoughts are based off an incorrect assumption.
But the public perception is based on editing, and Lauren doesn't know what happened between Ari and Becca. Like she only knows what he told her.
Okay,
but she didn't watch it.
But she watched everything else. So I am pro not watching. I'm pro not watching it because why would she put herself through that hurt of, okay, yeah, you proposed to someone else. That sucks. Oh, here you are breaking up with her. And he looks cold. So I would have a different view on him if I were her. Why would I want to put myself through that? I wouldn't watch it.
I mean, at the end of it, like for my take is that I think that the breakup scene doesn't really tell us. If I'm Lauren, it doesn't really tell me anything that I don't already know, right? He breaks up with her, and then he keeps going back. And I would wager that the reason why he went back wasn't because he actually cared about like being with Becca. It was because the producers were like, okay, like go back, like we need her to like have a breakdown.
I don't know. I think he wanted a hug goodbye.
I mean, it's a little. My guess is on the producers. Like once would have been, oh, I care about what I think. But twice was like, okay, now I know that it's not now it's not him. It's the producers are trying to get something out of her. And
I
so I just don't think that it tells me anything that I don't already know. Like any
It
story
doesn't-
by Ari would have basically been like, yeah, like I dumped her, and then I dumped her, and that was it. Like I feel like that's what it was. It's just like, yeah, I'm leaving you for Lauren.
Well, and I might be wrong, but didn't Lauren and him discuss it previously? So he had already established to Lauren what he was going to say and how this was going to go down. That's what I was under the impression of.
So I think the strength in watching the entire thing is knowing what the whole world knows. Like, yes, you have behind the scenes information where your fiance is telling you, I broke up with the other girl. This is how it went down. This is blah, blah, blah. But as we know, and as has been evidenced by 30 almost seasons of Bachelor and Bachelorette, blah, 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 editing plays a huge role in this. And I feel like not watching how everything went down puts you at a huge disadvantage, especially if you want to be a social media star or you want to be in the spotlight, like Lauren is clearly wanting to be. I think not watching it is dumb.
I don't know. If he hadn't done it on camera, she wouldn't even have the footage to watch it. She just have to take his word for it. So I think she's good with just taking his word.
But it is on camera. That's the point of being on reality TV. It is on camera. She can watch it, and she's not. And I think that's stupid.
I gotta say, I love these differing opinions.
Yeah,
I feel like this is why we do this.
I like it. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about something completely different. We're gonna talk about Raven because
No.
this top needs a segment.
Okay, guys, I like it.
Oh,
no, you don't.
I do. I wish it had like way more lace, but I am the most unpopular opinion on Raven because I like almost everything she wears.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Did you like that underboob swimsuit that she was wearing?
No, I'm never an underboob fan.
Did you
Wait,
like that crushed velvet swimsuit she was wearing? Like, this girl is
I didn't mind it.
I probably wouldn't
Crushed
mind.
velvet
I
swimsuit.
probably Instagram.
Okay.
Anyways, so can I just say really quick though, these kinds of shirts are popular, right? But usually, and I know this sucks, but like usually the lace will cover your boob area, and it tends to honestly look better if you either one have a smaller bosom or if the lace covers your boob area, that way your bra isn't showing, so it kind of looks like you're not wearing one. And I think that's my problem with it.
I wish that top had like 2 or 3 times the lace, where like the peekaboos were just little areas where you saw skin.
And maybe not even more lace, just placed in like not a smart way. Like it needs to be where the boob is so that you can see other parts of skin. That's totally fine. It just looks weird with the bra.
It just looks like a dress up Barbie.
So
it doesn't look right.
Am I crazy that I think I saw like her underwire in the recent Insta?
Her underwire was very visible in it.
Okay, thank you.
Raven
So
Nicole
that top is horrible. She also introduced it in black. So it's like black on tan.
Not my style, but
Ugh. You know, I
don't know. With a really cute bralette, I just think it would be adorable.
It's not worn correctly, in my opinion. It's not my style, but
yeah,
where it would maybe be worn better, and I don't like the way it's being worn.
Yeah.
You know what?
I agree with that.
Tell me a photo where this top is forgivable, and I will apologize for my opinions on it. But I just haven't seen it yet, and it's just bad every time I've seen it.
Yeah, she doesn't. I mean, it's not my style, and I don't think she's particularly my style. But
can we reflect on the fact that she's wearing this to record a podcast?
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
That's what it gets me. It's like, oh, like all of the sweaters and t-shirts, or sweaters and jeans and sweatpants. Like the other girl is literally wearing like a hoodie, and she's just wearing like that. It's like, you do you, but it's kind of funny. That's like all
funny. Yeah, I get that. It's funny.
I mean, who knows what she had to do later that day?
Yeah, there's another picture of them going out.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But I still don't like it. They were in Seattle and we didn't even know it. They were. Dang.
We missed them.
You guys are in Seattle. This is why we're doing this at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I freaked out at 7:30 Central Standard Time. I was like, oh no, I'm late.
I'm a busy man. I got shit to do.
Mostly it's like the worst coast to be on for getting people we are the earliest one. So we're like, oh, 7:30, that's not so bad. And everyone else is ready to go to bed.
I know. My sister lives in Bellingham, and anytime she tries to get us to do stuff, we're like, no, mm-mm.
Bellingham.
Bellingham
where
is
Death Cab's
very
from.
far.
Huh?
Where what?
It's where Death Cab is from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bellingham is just very far.
Yeah. Speaking of random things that are kind of annoying, Reality Steve is continuing to uphold his classy reputation by doxing a Reddit user and trashing her on his blog.
Cheers to Reality Steve.
Do we like, is this just like par for the course for this man? Like, are we just like given to under, like, this feels excessively bad?
I had no problem with him until he started liking our Instagram posts and then immediately unliking them.
He did it
And
once.
okay, one time I'm still holding on to that.
One is
And
one
also
time
like
too
stalking
many.
the sub. Yeah, exactly. And like stalking the sub and like, I don't know. And then this.
I can't stand him.
I feel like expecting anything better from Steve at this point is just super ignorant. Like, he's shown his cards. He's been very clear to all of us what he's about, and it's unethical, immoral. So I just want to punch him in the face. So maybe we could like start like a GoFundMe for me to travel to where he is and punch him in the face.
Dallas.
We just
He's
want to
in
go to
Dallas.
his birthday party thing and just experience him in real life.
So,
and maybe punch him in the face.
So here's a hypothetical question, because I actually thought about that. This is an interesting thing. So Steve has a journalism background.
Okay, what is his journalism background?
I think he did entertainment or sports or something like that,
Okay.
like that kind of. So if he purports to be a journalist, so how do you feel about the concept of doxing someone to uncover a story?
No. So really quick, I worked at a newspaper for a little bit and I have taken a journalism class. But like the first thing I feel like you learn is you don't do stuff like that. That's like one of the biggest things.
But she's not a source, right? Like, she's the subject of.
But he stole it from Reddit, right?
Yeah, but like,
two, you don't
he
do
didn't
that.
steal anything, right? Like, it's public internet. Like, anyone can go there.
But that wasn't public.
Yeah,
the information about her.
Yeah, her hometown and her name were not public when she posted that on Reddit.
It's not like in her Reddit name, hi, my name is Cara Devine. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. Here's my address. Like,
So,
here's my social security number, my blood type. Like,
so
what he did was wrong.
So I didn't know about this, nor did I know what doxing was until I got the agenda for today. I had to ask my fiance. So, but I just thought it was unbelievably tacky. Like, I just think he's a trashy human being.
So, I guess the impression that I'm getting is that it doesn't, like, doxing is still bad, even if you're a journalist.
It's just
doxing is
really
horrible.
weird.
So, like, I guess let me pose another hypothetical. What if this woman was like a huge bitch and like it's just totally just like trashing everybody we liked? Would it then be okay?
No.
Like, are we?
No.
Is this?
I
like,
feel like you're describing me. Like, no, it would still not be okay.
It's never
Like,
okay.
doxing is not okay.
okay.
It's never okay to take it that far.
Like, Reddit is an anonymous forum. It's not okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the opposite thing. The Reddit's anonymous insofar as you go, like, Reddit offers no guarantees of privacy.
Right.
I'll let you finish talking. I just want to say that I have. Okay, go on.
So my personal opinion, as someone who's been on Reddit for a while, is that Reddit offers you no guarantees of privacy. You can create an account and you have a name, and that name can be as associated with you as you want it to be, right? And I think that while it's unfortunate that this happened, I'm not going to go ahead and say that, like, I'm torn. Like, Reality Steve is a dick, and this was a dick move. Because I think that by all intents and purposes, this person was like, she wasn't posting. I remember what she posted. She wasn't posting being like, oh, like, my boyfriend is going on The Bachelor. It was like, like, I need help. Like, how long does this go? Like, I'm really freaking out. I'm really worried. It didn't seem like she was like coming there to be malicious.
Freaking out about
And
what?
Steve,
I forgot.
she was freaking out because she wanted to know how long people usually stay on The Bachelor. Because her boyfriend was on The Bachelorette. And she wanted him to come home, and she was worried that he hadn't come home already, and she was worried that she was actually he was actually like going places on the show.
She was gonna file a missing persons report. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, why was he on the show?
He applied to be on the show. Started dating.
Wouldn't you be like, yo, I'm not gonna go
she
on
knew.
the show?
She
or
knew.
wouldn't you like be like, okay, producers, I'm gonna stay a week and then bye?
Well, I don't know what the scenario, like, I don't know.
That's such a weird fucking scenario anyways.
But
I don't think they
that,
probably have control like that, saying like, hey, I'm just going to be here a week. Bye.
Yeah, they can't.
So,
That's.
but you have a choice to leave. You have
You
a
do.
Oh,
choice
yeah.
to be like, so
my opinion is, at least going back to the doxing.
That was off topic.
It was slightly off topic. I think, but going back to the doxing, I think that as a journalist, that I've read articles where they're like, this person was anonymous and we've done some digging and we found that it's this person. And I guess that, like, I feel like that as a culture we have this kind of like us versus them in terms of privacy, that like when they're private it's not okay, and when we're private it is okay. And I think that, but at least in terms of how Reddit is represented, I don't feel like we can offer an expectation of privacy if you give enough details of yourself to give someone the impression that they know who you are. Like, at that point, it's just a matter of trust.
I completely understand what you're saying, but I'm going to kind of turn this back around on the sub. Like, the mods recently imposed those rules where, I mean, they've always been rules, but imposing them harder, where if you're going to post something, like, you have to block out all identifying information because they don't want people from the sub attacking people on other platforms.
Yep.
And I think in Reddit, obviously, you know, you can choose to share what you want. It's anonymous as much as you want it to be. But I just think that taking someone's information from an anonymous site, like, I have a lot of followers on even Twitter, and I'm still, you know, pretty anonymous. But it's just taking information from that site and posting it on another site to trash someone and use it for your own personal gain is not right from an ethically or morally, like, journalistic standpoint. If he claims that he's a journalist, this would be a fireable offense if he was employed by a reputable organization.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm not debating that Steve is a dick. Because, like, I think that the bigger problem, the meta problem I had with Steve, is that he claims to be a journalist, but he gives his opinion on it. So it's like, you're either reporting the facts as you see them or you're giving your opinion, and I don't want both. I only want one thing. And, like, all of his blogs are like, this is how I got the information. I love this. I'm so awesome. And here's how I feel about this thing. And oh, by the way, here's the thing I'm talking about. Like,
I mean, reality Steve's blog is basically his own personal diary. He's so long-winded and he's so annoying. And the only reason that people click on it is to take tidbits of information and bring them back to our sub. And that's why he's mad. But that's a little off topic. So
so we touched on this before. And I think that, like, I don't like reality Steve, and I think that this, at least in terms of like how in terms of like ethics and morals, like journalistic ethics and morals, I know a couple of journalists, and I think that they probably wouldn't have as much of a problem with I think that they wouldn't have as much of a problem with the posting of the personal information, but they probably would have a much bigger problem with him basically making all of these completely unfounded opinions of her and then stating them as fact.
Yeah,
that's the problem I have with it.
I think it's because it's mixed with also her personal information that's it's more intense.
That's where I draw the line. Like, you
but
can
did
say,
you
like, oh,
sorry, did you see his recant, quote unquote recant, in the, I mean, not even I think it was like April 3rd he posted it, where he was like, I talked to Jordan's ex, she told me her side of the story, blah blah blah.
No.
I mean, that's all he said. And for me, like, searches, it looks like he deleted the actual content. If he didn't, I would love to see it. But to me, like, reality Steve, this might be kind of gross, but reality Steve is like that bug or like that crustacean that chews the tongue out of a fish. and then
Yeah.
just like hangs out there as like the replacement tongue. Like all he does is just like recycle information. He doesn't contribute anything. It's like the people that are giving him information actually exist without him. If he were to be gone tomorrow, there would be 3, 4, 5, 6 new blogs to pop up that would give us this information, and they would be doing it with more integrity. I just think he's disgusting.
I've never really understood Reality Steve because when I've only been on Reddit for about 1.5 years, so I didn't even know it was supposed to be private. My username's the same on everything. So
yeah,
I mean, and that's totally okay.
It's like I agree. Like my username is I think it's also my Xbox user tag, but here nor there. Friend me on Xbox, a platform I never use anymore.
But what I was saying was, so I didn't really know about him until I started on the Bachelor subreddit. And when I went in, I was like, oh, well, I'll love this. I love The Bachelor. And then I started looking at it, and it's just like, I personally have a hard time with it because the sub can be a little like harsh. Like I have to take breaks from it because it's a little mean sometimes. But Reality Steve is just like a constant assault on everybody. And I just don't understand why everyone loves it and why it's a big deal. Like he should have never posted her private information, and he shouldn't have attacked her like he did.
Yeah, I just feel like
it just seems a little unfounded. Like I don't really understand why all of a sudden he do it.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, she seems kind of whiny and has an axe to grind, and it's like literally reading that post, she didn't have an axe to grind. It just sounded like she was freaked out. Like I was like, I don't like Steve. I think that Steve is kind of a necessary evil. Like he posts spoilers, and that is useful. But I also think that and I think that there are other people on the sub who basically said, yeah, like I hate his guts, but I would probably not watch The Bachelor without him. Oh. And so I would, but
sorry, I feel like I'm being like Kanye tonight. I'm like taking the mic. Like I'm gonna let you finish, but just so you know.
That's how I feel.
Just
throwback reference.
But Beyonce is the best artist of all time.
Yeah, so technically I'm sticking up for Beyonce. So, what were we talking about? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Steve is a necessary evil, but I feel like my personal beef with Steve is you're either a journalist or you're not. Like you don't get to report the fact. You don't get to claim to report the facts and then write entire columns talking about how awesome you are and how you got the facts. Like a journalist, like I'm not a journalist. I'm an engineer, but I've taken enough. I've been around journalists long enough to know that that's not how you do. And like he only gets away with it because he's the only one.
Can I just say that
he just so reminds me of Perez Hilton.
Oh yeah. And I think the sad thing is now I'm starting to feel bad for him. Why do I always start to feel bad for people? But it's like people would enjoy his site, and I think they would like him more. Quit doing the weird stuff. Like just stop it. Like just be a little bit normal about it.
It's like, yeah, I don't give a shit that your nephew turned 11 this week. Like I don't care about all of this other stuff. Like, just give us the spoilers. I really just want like bullet points from Reality Steve.
Honestly, I actually I would think it was cute that he'd be like, "Happy birthday to my paragraph." Like, be like, "Oh yeah, by the way."
He did that.
Like, I think he did, and I read that.
I think it's because people aren't preferring his personality.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that if like you followed someone that you really liked their personality, you thought they were funny, they wrote well, it was interesting. Maybe it wasn't super long, but long enough to like keep your attention. That if they did those things occasionally, you'd be like, yeah, sure, that's fun, whatever. I want to know more about this person in their life. But I think it's like he's not coming about it the right way.
Yeah,
it's his own personal diary. I would actually like to take this moment to point out, I don't know if this is like popular, unpopular on Reddit, but I feel like maybe doxing comes from the site Reductive. Like, do people know about that?
What is that?
Go on.
Explain.
So if you go to reductive.com, you can type in anyone's username. It shows all of their activity. It shows
the term doxing comes from beyond Reddit. It's like an older term. I think it's from
I completely understand that, but I feel like this site makes it easier to dox people because you can type in their username. You can see how often they type a certain word. You can look up every single post of theirs. Like, I think I right now have like 44 pages of material. If I go back to like page 44, it shows my most downvoted shit. So
so creeped
Wait,
out.
like every post, every comment.
every post ever that you've never deleted.
Oh well, it's only a year and a half for me, so
It's redective. So RE detective, or no, I'm sorry, it's not even detective. It's
Don't spell it.
REDC. Okay.
Why?
Don't spell it. I
Why?
don't, because people are going to start doxing.
But tell us. But don't
Yeah.
don't tell
Just
us.
for the
Okay, so maybe
Catchy-
cut that part from the podcast. But
No, I'm
seriously,
disclaimer, if you dox someone, we're going to ban you. Just heads up.
And there are heads up also. There are more ways to ban you than just your username. So
Yeah.
stop thinking you're so smart. And
Oh
that
my
is all.
also
So-
be a nice person and don't do it.
Yeah, but people think they're so smart, and guess what?
But I'm just
the
saying,
internet
if-
works in multiple ways.
if there are
Actually
people
funny.
out there that are like, oh, hey, I've been on Reddit for like 2 years and I've been on Reddit kind of drunk once or twice. Like, what did I say? Like, you can go back through everything and you can even click on the links. It'll open the post in another tab if you tell it to.
Can't you just
And
do
you can
that from
delete
your
it.
profile?
And
Yeah.
you can clean
It's
yourself up a
hard, but
little.
it's hard for me, like mobile, and now I'm on this new fucking Reddit desktop beta thing. Like,
that's your fault.
like it's hard to find your posts sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So-
don't know. I just have the app.
Sometimes I
But
might
this
need to do a
way-
little bit of a cleanse.
This way it rates everything from most downvoted to most upvoted. So
Mine would just be total shit posts, like
I
garbage.
think people take you too seriously sometimes. Anyways.
So let's move on to a section that we like to call Rose of the Week.
yes.
Yes. So this is a section where we celebrate someone in Bachelor Nation and on the sub for doing something awesome. Taking nominations. Everybody go. I have mine. I wrote mine down.
No, I'm just kidding.
I like the nomination that's already on the floor.
Yeah. So we have a new mod. Her name is J-Rock Giraffe.
Oh,
She's
love her.
awesome.
Snaps.
She did a post about Reality Steve, and it was scumbag Reality Steve, and it's great, and I love it, and absolutely fucking rose to her.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at it right now. It's so good.
We were talking in the mod chat. She's like, "Which picture Reality?" I was like,
Oh no, I
was like,
mean.
and I showed her that one, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's great." I was like, "We all have way too much free time on our hands."
So good.
It's great. I love it. J-Rock.
I love it. It's so funny.
I feel bad. Anyways.
Limo exit of the week. This is a segment that we devote to people who maybe need to take a step back from Bachelor Nation. I feel like the two people that we've kind of talked about a lot this podcast, Reality Steve and Ari, fit the bill here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would maybe recommend Raven. Just, the Instas and the outfits, because she's so connected. Like, maybe don't post an outfit for like a week or two.
I mean, like, doesn't she?
You're banned.
She owns a clothing boutique.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that clothing boutique has their own Insta, and the stuff is pretty cute from time to time. But like her own personal outfits, like give us a breather.
A lot of times she just posts it to get traction on her. I can't remember what it's called, but her boutique
Mhm.
though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see Ashley I and Jared, is that his name? I can never remember.
Yeah,
Them
yes.
like just disappear and back off. They have been so hot on everything recently, and I'm like, oh no.
Mhm.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
strong feelings on Ashley I.
Go nuts. This is your
She'll
forum.
cry.
She probably won't. She probably doesn't give a shit.
This is your forum.
Okay, fine. I will do this. I just hate how, because she came to fruition during the whole Chad era. Yes, she was on Chris's season. Yes, she was on Chris's season, but her rude horribleness came to fruition on Bachelor in Paradise. And there were so many people that were like, oh, Chad's such a rude dude. Why are we having misogynists on this season? He's such a dick. This franchise shouldn't allow that. But everyone ignored what Ashley I was saying. She attacked races. She attacked countries people were from. She called people whores and sluts over one guy the entire season, and she was allowed to stay by her fellow castmates, and nobody batted an eye. And she has continued that diatribe throughout her entire podcast and her entire fame on this whole thing, and it just makes me mad. Like,
I've never watched her podcast, so I don't really know how that is, but
she's just disrespectful,
I don't think I could
and it
sit
makes me
through
mad.
it.
that's
She's
interesting. No,
disrespectful on the show, though. Like, even in Winter Games, which I loved, she was still horrible. She was disrespectful to other people. She
Yes.
totally bashed Bibby, and like everyone was like, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine. It's just Ashley being Ashley, and it's not fine.
I
okay.
hate that excuse for people. I really don't like that excuse
So-
when people use that.
So
So-
Ashley, I'm gonna cut you off right now. I'm so sorry, but Ashley I is one of those women that thinks that because she's a woman, there are no consequences for her. She is like that exceptional woman, and she can do whatever she wants, and there's no consequences to her actions. So she can be disrespectful and disgusting. And you know what? This franchise has let her get away with those actions. I personally will not. And Ashley I sympathizers, I'm so sorry, we will not get along. But ugh.
Yeah, everybody was so excited for her and Kevin, and I was like, I was not
I
a
wish I
Kevin
had a
fan either,
soundboard.
but I was still like, oh my god,
I
no.
wasn't.
I need to make a soundboard so I can like input like rounds, say go on rants and stuff like that. 'cause it's, like,
You
really
love
good.
rants. You're a
I
rant
do.
lover.
I know.
I have lots of rants.
But there
So-
who I would like to see. I would like to see them just take a step back, because I feel like every 2 months roughly, Ashley is doing something like crazy to get attention. Right now it's posting pictures of him constantly, and like them going out and calling paparazzi on themselves. She's another person who calls paparazzi a lot.
Interesting. Well, she's trying to stay in the eye of people, but there's other ways to do that. Working hard, being funny. I don't know.
Who told us she writes for Cosmo?
Oh, someone did tell us.
She does actually write for Cosmo.
That just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, didn't she do a makeup
does, like,
tutorial
almost
for them?
weekly. No, she has a column weekly.
I know she's
Is it a-
done some makeup tutorial videos for them, because they are a riot.
Oh my god. Her she just needs to stop with the contour. Like she just needs to stop with the contour.
She's
I
gonna
don't know, I'm not
contour
putting this
herself
shit on
out of
people.
existence.
So-
oh goodness.
So would
Can
you
you
say
contour your stuff? Can you contour yourself so hard that you just don't exist anymore?
well, I think that with her we might
Goodness, you guys.
but so you interrupted me, but this is a very important question.
That's
But
my jam.
Is it
I just
but
accidentally outlawed you.
is it okay?
What?
Ashley is she okay?
No.
Oh, like
No.
are you
No? Okay, no.
You're concerned with her?
No,
or,
because that's her name. But is it okay?
Oh. I'm so confused.
Oh my gosh,
Why
I
are
totally
you here?
misunderstood you.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one.
I got it.
No, and that's like the second time I've done it tonight, so good.
This is
I'm
me every freaking podcast. I'm like, do I even exist here? Have I contoured too much? Like, I don't even know. So
I'm funny. I'm funny.
I
God
really
damn it,
appreciate you using my username in such a creative way. So thank you.
Pretty not creative. I could do better.
Yeah, we'll quit there though. So
Yeah. Ouch. All right. Last question for everybody. This is a contested question where we get to answer a question that was on one of the
Okay.
contestant bios and give your answer so that we can learn a little bit more about you.
Oh, this is gushy.
Mm.
It is gushy. This is going to be good.
I don't know.
Also,
I
'cause we're
get
running out of
so
questions.
uncomfortable answering gushy questions. So here we go.
What does being married mean to you?
Oh gosh.
Are you gonna call on us?
Yeah,
Like,
that was my question.
Yes. Let's start with Elizabeth
Because
JP 2010.
you're the closest out of any of us. I think. I don't know.
Well, I engaged, so I'm on my way to getting married. For me, it's just like it's choosing the person you want to be with, saying this is the person I can't bear to lose. Trip us or trap us, but we refuse to fall. That is from last 5 years. I did not make that up. But it's
Aw.
just saying like that's the person you want. That's the person you need to be with. It's your partner. It's somebody like I want to be like to just be like the Bachelor and Bachelorettes of the world. I only want to do this once. No, I want to be like my parents. And in 20 years, my kids being like, oh, my parents are disgustingly in love. It is so annoying. And also, love is a real life porn, minus all the stuff that makes porn cool, which is Bo Burnham.
I feel like I missed a reference there.
Oh my gosh.
And I never miss reference.
That's
good though.
That was really good.
All right. QO.
Why me?
Because you had to go eventually.
I know. So I'm really awkward. But I don't know. I guess I agree with you. It's just someone that you're picking to be with, that you enjoy, you like having around, amongst other things that you like to do with them. And I don't know. Yeah, you're just picking someone you want to spend your life with and working through whatever. It's a pretty big choice, I think. And now I'm just rambling because I'm feeling weird and my armpits are sweating. So anyway.
It's okay. I talked way too much.
Fine. But it's okay. But is it okay?
But is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
So we've already talked about my aversion to having children, and now we'll talk about my aversion to marriage.
There we go. We need a different answer.
So, at this point in my life, I really, really, really do not want to get married. I'm 28. I don't see myself being with someone else. I don't want to get bingoed with comments saying like, oh, you'll change your mind, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm pretty set in my ways. But
aren't you a wedding planner?
Yeah, did that ruin you? No, I'm just kidding.
That's actually part of my answer.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like, wait, she did say that, right?
No,
Okay.
That's totally fine.
Excited.
I mean, my parents have been married for like 3 decades plus at this point, and they're amazing together. And I really respect the institution. And I've been an event professional for probably 12 years, and 6 of those years I was a professional wedding planner. And I've seen a lot of shit. It's like a war zone out there in wedding planning. There are just people that hate each other that are just going through it and getting married. There are the actual couples that really do love each other and it's the right decision for them. But it's hard to watch the couples that aren't going to make it. I just personally think that marriage is a deeply, deeply personal decision that shouldn't be taken lightly. So if you think it's for you and your partner, same sex, whatever, then go for it. But I think there is a lot of reflection and a lot of soul searching that needs to go into it. And the last thing I want to say is that everyone needs to remember that a wife is for life. It's not just for Christmas. So
yeah. And can I just say something really quick I want to throw in there? I do not enjoy the idea, I think, in today's society, how we put this idea that getting married like validates your relationship somehow. And I just kind of wish that we didn't think of it that way. And because when I think of it, I'm like, I just want a really cool celebration of my love with this person. But I hate having in the back of my mind thinking like, when I tell people like, oh, my boyfriend, we own a car together, or we do that with only your boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, but how does being married validate what we're doing any more than choosing to be with a person? I don't know. So that's kind of weird too.
Yeah, I work in jewelry. I got that a lot before we got engaged.
Yeah. It's like, okay, thanks. So anyways.
No, I completely agree with you. Like it's not fair that choosing a non quote unquote in 2018, this sounds crazy to say, but choosing a non-traditional way of living, like being with a partner for years at a time, or having a child out of wedlock, or being with someone of your same sex, or choosing a different gender, or whatever. Like, it's so annoying that people are still like, oh, that's not okay. Like, when are you going to get on the right track?
Yeah.
So just to kind of put a little bit of a different perspective on this out there, as someone who works in jewelry, I see people, the shortest relationship I've ever sold a ring to was a little bit under 2 weeks. And they hadn't met in person yet, up to the longest relationship I had sold a ring in was 28 years. So you do see a lot in between. And I think for that, a lot, like my grandfather was with his awful wife for 30 years before they got married. And so it's just, this is my partner, which is one thing I like about like Bachelor in Australia Bachelor Australia, sorry, and like Australians in general, is everyone just their partner instead of like, this is my husband, this is my wife, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever the
they
case
just
may
say
be.
partner.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And I don't think there's anything wrong with marriage. It's beautiful, and I think it's wonderful. It's fun to talk about both sides, kind of. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
See, I apologize if anyone listening to this thinks that I'm shitting on the sanctity of marriage or shitting on like having kids. Like that's definitely not what I'm doing. Like I personally, by choice, I mean, the doctors told me I can't have kids, but I personally, by choice, am child free. At this point in my life, I do not want to get married. I'm pretty stubborn. I don't think I'm going to wake up when I'm like 42 and be like, damn, I wish I had a husband, you know? Like my cats are pretty fun, so I think I'm okay.
Love cats. And I also work in makeup, so doing a lot of weddings. I'm like, I just want everyone to chill out a little bit and just have fun on the day. That's my advice.
I saw your comments on the Discord earlier, and I was like, this chick seems pretty cool. So
thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Anyways, our dive of like weirdness of
that's fine.
Anyway,
if you keep going down the
I feel like I know how you feel, so we're good. You don't need to. No, I'm just kidding. Go on. So what does marriage mean to you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like two minds. I think on one side, like the logical side, you know that it's essentially just like, oh, it's basically, it feels kind of like a relationship checkpoint, right? Like it's like, oh, you're getting married, you're signing a piece of paper, and you're sharing all your stuff, and it feels kind of like unnecessary on the one hand, and like logically, you think about it, it's like, why would you do it? Like you could just be together and share all your stuff, and then like not be beholden to laws or anything like that. And like Q and I, you probably don't know this, but like we've been living together for like almost 4 years, and so we pretty much are like a married couple. Like we do everything together. Like we obviously share one bedroom. Like all this stuff is like.
No, we don't. Don't let people know that we sleep in 2 separate beds.
I mean, you guys have
my legal address is still my parents, and we've lived together almost 3 years. So
yeah.
Like, I think that like we do all this stuff together. So like on the one hand, like people, you might think like, oh, like why get married? That's like the logical side. It's just like it doesn't like make sense. But it's just more than that, right? Like I don't know. It's like you see someone and then you're like, I just love you so much. Like I just want to do all this stuff. Like it's not like an oh, like logic doesn't apply. And like there are people like I moderate Ask Men, I say that a lot. A lot of people on Ask Men are like, oh, like marriage is dumb, like logically. I was like, well, love is illogical. Like it's not a logical decision. And that's fine. Like it's totally an emotional decision. Like I love this person so much. Like I don't even know, part of it is like I don't even know how to properly like articulate how much I love my partner. And I feel like marriage is kind of like a bet.
A way to like articulate it though too. You're like, hey, this person's dope. Like we're celebrating it.
Yeah, and I know that you said pretty dope and you did the hand signal.
I don't know why I did that. So uncomfortable.
It's okay.
Like all of a sudden I'm from the valley. I'm like, yeah.
But like for me, like marriage is kind of like this bet. It's like I love you so much. Like we're gonna share all our stuff together and like show off to everybody. This is how much I love this other person.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's what it is. And I think that's why I enjoy it. Like from like a logical standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And like I can definitely agree with, but is it okay? That like, yeah, like there's not like all that much reason to get married, but like and for a while, like when I was like just got out of college and I was working and I was single, I definitely had an opinion like, oh, like I never really pictured. And I just think like then like I met QO and this is gonna be really gushy and QO is gonna be really uncomfortable, but she's just gonna have to deal with it. Like it was just like this one like this like moment where it just like clicked. Like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, like I can totally see myself getting married. And I can totally see myself like spending the rest of my life with this person. And it's like it just feels like marriage is kind of this like declaration, like I love you so much. All of this stuff is something that I want to do because I love you. And
and that is beautiful. Can I take it back to The Bachelor for a second about that, since you said that? Like if you have this second where you're like, yeah, I want to be with this person, I feel like a lot of times on the idea that they get married so soon or engaged so soon. But I don't know. I think that maybe it's like not that big of a deal then.
I think if you're in the setting where you're with each other, you know, well, they're not necessarily with each other, but like thinking about this person and literally having nothing else to do but focus on this person, your feelings are going to develop at a different rate and in a different way than they will if you have work and you have your family and you have your life and you have your whatever. It'll just develop faster. But that is why my favorite Bachelor quote is, "I'm only going to do this once," which somebody says every season.
And then they're lying.
I think there's definitely a mindset that goes into going on like the different franchises, you know, and there's a reason in my mind that The Bachelorette is more successful than The Bachelor. So take from that what you will, but getting married so soon doesn't happen as much from the Bachelorette contestants. Like they have typically long engagements. And I don't think we're going to see a long engagement from Laurie. Like I think they're in a rush to prove to the world that this was the right choice.
Didn't they set a date for the end of June, or was that her old guys? Like June 28th,
that was the old
right?
one.
Maybe also the new one though. You never know.
She just changed the name on the programs.
I mean, who knows?
That was a really good question.
Yeah, how do you answer that on one of the little sheets really quick?
It's
like,
usually like a 5-second like, wait for my best friend every day.
Oh yeah, true. That would be cute.
Like that. That was a really good in-depth question. I think.
Yeah, I feel like I really love taking this podcast back to our roots and having people from the sub. It's so much fun.
Talking about garbage.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, you guys were so much fun. I'm so sorry for being, that girl that interrupted everyone, but thank you.
No worries. It's all right.
So we're gonna close out the podcast.
Oh yes.
So be sure to follow us on Instagram at Bachelor Reddit and on Twitter at Reddit Bachelor. You can download this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think also there's some other random podcast apps that we're on.
Yep. Just look for us. And if you're so inclined, you can watch on YouTube, but honestly, just do the podcast app.
Yeah, do whatever. I mean, we put so much work into the podcast. Anyways, next week, we will have more contestants. Or not more contestants, more subscribers, and we will talk about more things. And
wow, it's almost like that's what a podcast does. Okay,
it's crazy. So for Elizabeth JP 2010, but is it okay? And Queen Overthrown, I am your quality host saying thank you very much and have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you.